Hello, leader. There's something I've noticed lately. When new clients join the Leadership Lab, they don't ask about the call schedule or how to book their one-to-ones with me. They don't ask about the trainings and the tools. No, they come in carrying something heavier. And even though their businesses look completely different on the outside, with different industries, different team sizes, different profit margins, they're all asking the same version of 3 questions. Not beginner questions like, how do I hire my first team member? No, the kind of questions that keep showing up with my clients are ones that show up when your business is working, but your leadership hasn't caught up to what it now requires. So today, I'm going to give you those 3 questions. And more importantly, I'm going to show you what they actually sound like, because these clients have all the feelings about leadership tension that business owners at this level can carry around with them every single day. If you hear yourself in even one of these questions, you're not stuck. You are at a point where leadership coaching and development really starts to matter. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast, smart leadership for women who mean business. This show has been on air since 2018 to help women who own established brick-and-mortar businesses fix the people side of their business so they can stop carrying payroll pressure, stop over-functioning as the default decision maker, and build a team that actually performs without burning anyone out or damaging their reputation. I'm your host, Shelli Warren. My entire career has been built on leadership coaching, team development, and creating accountable, productive cultures inside real workplaces. Over here, we don't just talk about leadership, we live it. This isn't online leadership theory, academic research, or HR speak. The work we do here is grounded in real teams, real workplaces, and real consequences. Each episode delivers practical, no-fluff strategies to help you lead a team that can carry the business forward with you, not on your back. And I'll say it again, the team that got you here might not be the team that gets you there. Let's go. Welcome back to the Stacking Your Team podcast, where we talk about real leadership for real workplaces. Today's one of those episodes where you might feel a little called out, but also very, very seen. Let me set this up properly. My clients don't walk in and say, Shelli, I'm struggling with leadership structure and accountability systems. No, they say things like, I feel like I can't step away. I don't want to upset anyone. I thought this stage would feel easier. But when we slow it down, those all map back to 3 core leadership questions. Here's the first one. How do I stop being the decision bottleneck without lowering my standards? That's a great question. They tell me how frustrating it is that everyone still comes to them for everything. And they say things like, it's faster just to do it myself. And if I'm not there, things fall off the rails quickly. So what's really happening here? Well, you are the default decision maker for everything. Your team hesitates, waits, or escalates the problem instead of owning a decision or a process. You can't fully unplug even when you're supposed to be taking a long weekend. And your growth feels capped by your capacity and your calendar. And it can look like this: constant interruptions, mental fatigue from decision overload, frustration about why can't they just handle this themselves, and that quiet resentment that everything still depends on you. You know, a client of mine with multiple locations is fully booked out, incredible reputation, and a big wait list said to me, I've built a business that only works when I'm in it. Whoop, there it is, the bottleneck trap. Not because she wasn't capable, but because everything still required her final say. Way too much oversight and handholding. That's so exhausting. So what did we do? We implemented the 5-hour work plans, starting with a few key roles whereby she wanted to get clear on decision spaces they had, enabling them to rely on her less. 5-hour work plans are the most popular tool that my clients apply into their business because it makes it crystal clear for anyone in any role exactly what that person is getting paid to do. The work plan outlines responsibilities and results they own and are expected to deliver, and where the decisions stop needing to be escalated to the business owner because they themselves have the authority to solve the problem. So what happened? Well, within weeks, the number of incidences that were escalated to her dropped. Team leaders started deciding without her, and finally, she had uninterrupted time to think and plan. She told me, "Now my days are quieter in the very best way." Here's the second leadership question that keeps popping up. How do I hold people accountable without damaging relationships or having them quit? This is a very real concern for these clients, and I hear the worry in their voice when they tell me, I don't want to be too hard on them because what if they quit? And I've already talked to them about this, but I'm still so often disappointed. So what's really happening here? Well, it looks like this. Underperformance is tolerated longer than it should. Conversations are delayed, softened, or avoided altogether. Standards become inconsistent across the team, which always looks like favoritism. And your strongest people start to disengage because they're fed up. And it can feel like this: ongoing emotional drain. You're always worn out from second guessing after every conversation you have with a team member, and then feeling guilty after you do address an issue. A few days go by and you're back to feeling frustrated because nothing is really changing. One newer client had a long-term team member who was well-liked, loyal, but clearly underperforming. And she told me, "I think I've waited too long and now it feels bigger than it should be." And she was right, because avoidance compounds the problem. So what do? We implemented another long-standing and highly effective tool, the Start, Stop, Continue feedback framework, paired with a leadership drumbeat for consistent check-ins. This removed the big, scary conversation dynamic and replaced it with ongoing, normalized accountability. So she was making it normal to talk about results and provide feedback, including reassuring and positive feedback. And here's what happened. Conversations became easier and shorter. Expectations became clearer across the whole team, and underperforming team members either stepped up or self-selected out. And most importantly, she said, "I don't feel like I'm carrying everything by myself anymore." It's been tough to see team members leave, but the new team is night and day different, and everyone is so capable. They're also open to talking about results. We do it every day now, and no one is defensive. If anything, they collaborate more and take full ownership of their wins and their challenges. Here's the third leadership question that keeps popping up. Why does leadership feel harder now, even though the business is so successful? This is very real, and it can feel very heavy. So many of my clients think poorly of themselves, believing they'll never get a handle on this messy people stuff. And they tell me, "I thought it would be easier by now. We're doing well, so why does this feel so hard? I'm more tired now than when I started, and I know it's not supposed to be like that." So what is really happening here? Well, more people can equal more complexity. More revenue can morph into feeling more pressure to stay on top, stay at that level, and even beat it. More decisions need to be made, and those have way bigger stakes now. And this is not working out so well for you because you're still operating like the earlier version of your business, when it's time to level up your leadership skills. And it can feel like this: constantly being tired from mental overload. You feel pressure that you can't even quite explain. And there's so much loneliness deep inside that long list of decisions that need to be made. And you keep questioning yourself and everything you're thinking and doing instead of feeling more confident as your business grows and has more impact. Recently a client said this almost immediately when they got on a call. I don't think I realized how much heavier this would feel. Because on paper, nothing was wrong per se, but everything had changed because of the success she was having in the business. So what did we do? We introduced the leadership brief. That's our weekly planning tool that helps my clients put their attention towards their highest valued work each week. The most important conversations that need to take place and specific tasks to delegate instead of being pulled into every little thing that's going on. That tool, combined with structured drum beats for a leadership cadence, made a huge difference. So what happened? She shifted out of reaction mode and into intentional leadership and immediately realized she was no longer making decisions based on her emotions or pressure, and instead made decisions in collaboration or fully delegated the decisions to others who were better set to make solid decisions about operations, processes, systems, and more. She also started feeling lighter because she knew, without a doubt, what her key work was for the week, and she was able to do it, which in turn felt so refreshing instead of feeling drained after another day of being pulled into a million different directions and then going home without any energy for her family and then feeling terribly guilty about that. And the biggest shift for her, she said, I finally feel like I'm leading, not just keeping up. So let's recap those 3 leadership questions that keep showing up with clients who raise their hand and ask for guidance on how to uplevel their leadership skills. Here they are. How do I stop being the bottleneck? How do I hold people accountable? Why does this people stuff feel harder now? And if you're asking any version of these, you're not doing something wrong. You're just at the stage where leadership becomes the job. If this all feels a little too familiar, that's usually the moment to stop trying to figure it all out alone, because the business and the team you've built, it now requires a different version of you. You might not know that inside the Leadership Lab, we work on clear org structures, pay plans, career paths, compensation alignment, performance standards, hiring standards, accountability conversations, promotion readiness, letting go of chronic underperforming people, and reducing founder dependency. And this isn't theory. This is real workplace leadership for real brick and mortar teams. You deserve a business that performs without you carrying everyone. You can be strong, you can be respected, and you can lead without the fear of being labeled difficult. And you do not have to do any of this alone. I'm here for you. If today's episode helps you see your leadership in a new way, I'd love to hear about it. Come connect with me on Instagram, where I'm at Stacking Your Team, and tell me what's troubling you about your team right now. And hey, if you're tuning into this podcast because you work somewhere and you want to develop your leadership skills, I invite you to start following our sister company, Thousand Islands Leadership Consulting. Check us out on Instagram or LinkedIn so you can chart your course to the next level of leadership.
This is Ellie. Come back next Tuesday. My Mimi will have another episode for you.